There is an expectation in the hair loss community that gets people into some trouble. And that is the expectation that any given treatment option will work as a magic pill or cure that will reverse hair loss or provide significant results in a matter of days or a couple of weeks. And the reality is that biology just doesn't work that way. Your body needs some serious time to make changes, very significant periods of time to make changes. Think about it. It takes infants over half a decade to grow a full head of hair. And for adults, it may not feel like it at the time, but it literally takes adults decades to fully lose their hair, from the beginning, Norwood 1, all the way to the bald ending. How about the FDA-approved treatment finasteride? Well, even with finasteride, it takes up to 2 years to see full results, at which point you can decide if the drug is right for you. So how about hair transplants? Surely this is the magic pill we're seeking. Well, even with hair transplants, it can take well over 18 months to see if the newly transplanted follicles will take root and restore your hairline. So there is no magic pill. There is nothing out there that it will provide significant progress or results in a matter of days or weeks. And that's the point here. This desire in the hair loss community or amongst people who would just like to improve the quality of their hair, or they're suffering hair loss, whatever their situation may be, the desire for results in these unrealistic timelines is the biggest mistake they make, regardless of the remedy they choose. You know, even if they're going for doctor-prescribed, FDA-approved drugs like finasteride, or they're going with something more classically natural, like making significant changes to their diet, regardless of the choice, progress needs to be measured on much, much longer time scales than most people use. So this is a guide to using scalp massages for stopping or even reversing hair loss. And naturally, the first question is, do scalp massages actually help with hair loss? And just like with any other given treatment option, there are, of course, a group of non-responders, a group of people who do not respond to this treatment. But for the overwhelming majority of people, the answer is yes. Scalp massages do help with hair loss. A 2016 Japanese study had scalp massages performed on a group of men for a minimum of 4 minutes a day for 6 months and compared outcomes with a group not receiving massages at all. The researchers found standardized scalp massages resulted in increased hair thickness 24 weeks after initiation of massage. In 2017, another study published results showing that 68.9% reported hair loss stabilization or regrowth after massaging their heads for 10 to 20 minutes a day for 6 months. Now, of course, there are certain techniques and guidelines that need to be followed if you want to see results from scalp massages yourself. But early clinical research, the data we have up to this point now, does look very promising in this area. So why are scalp massages working? What's the mechanism behind the effectiveness here? We know that finasteride, for example, works by lowering DHT levels. So what's going on with massages? Well, there are two mechanisms at play here. The first is that scalp massages cause micro-injuries in the scalp tissue, and this leads to short-term inflammation, which leads to the activation of wound-healing pathways that encourage new blood vessel formation and the remodeling of balding scalp tissues. In simple terms, you're slightly hurting the scalp tissues and forcing them to heal and come back stronger, especially in the long term. The second mechanism has to do with simple blood flow. Massages result in the relaxation of perimeter muscles around the scalp. And when these muscles come out of chronic contraction, we improve blood flow to our scalp and hair follicles. So to summarize, through these two mechanisms, through increased blood flow and through the remodeling of the bowel and scalp tissues, we're creating a healthier environment for the hair follicles to thrive in. So how long does it typically take to see results from scalp massages? When properly done and done consistently, people usually see hair loss stopping or slowing at around month 3 or 4, and hair regrowth is generally seen at around month 6 or beyond for many people. Remember how we opened with a discussion about how the human body needs time to make changes? Whether you're an infant growing your first head of hair or a guy in his 20s or 30s slowly losing his hair, the process is much slower than we realize, regardless of the direction we're going. So the fact that we can see major positive results from scalp massages in under a year is remarkable. Yeah, this is a slow process, but it's likely to be a slow process even if you choose the most expensive treatments available. There is no escaping slow process when it comes to hair regrowth or stopping hair loss. This is a process that's worth it for those of us who do not want to risk the side effects of commonly prescribed hair loss treatments, such as finasteride. That's who this is for. So how do we perform massages to stop or even reverse hair loss? The number one rule, the rule to remember, if you remember nothing else from this video, is that getting results from scalp massages takes consistent effort over long periods of time. So scalp massages should be performed 1 to 2 times daily for a duration of 10 to 20 minutes per session. And this habit should be done every day and kept up for a period of 8+ months to see if it's really working and making a difference. Your results literally equal minutes daily times months. And as far as movements and technique are concerned, during each session, the entire scalp area should be pressed and pinched and pulled with the fingers and knuckles. And you want to do this with quite a bit of pressure. It should not be soft. You should be really manipulating the scalp tissue and generating some short-term inflammation. This is the entire idea behind the scalp massage. And the entire scalp needs attention and love, not just the areas with thinning hair or your bald spot. The entire scalp, this is a very common mistake. The entire scalp needs to be massaged. And if this sounds like hard work, it is hard work. And one of the biggest problems with scalp massages is people have difficulty maintaining the habit long enough to get the results. Because without long-term consistency, results will elude you. Additionally, a lot of pressure has to come out of your hands into your scalp, and a lot of people do report sore or numb hands after a couple of weeks or a couple of months. So this is why we do recommend using a scalp massaging device for at least a portion of your sessions, if not all sessions. And you can click the link in the description or the Shop Now button on this video to purchase the scalp massager that we've made. And we want to focus in on the fact that you can just use your hands and your fingers. You don't have to purchase a scalp massager. But in our experience, having a scalp massager makes you much more likely to stick to this habit long term and get the results you want. Anything that we can add to your routine and make you stick with it long term is to be encouraged. So with this scalp massager, it's a lot easier to keep up with the routine, and you can sit back and relax and you can watch your favorite show while you calmly guide the massager around your entire scalp area. Some final words of encouragement. If you plan on implementing a scalp massage routine, please do not get discouraged in the beginning weeks or months. This approach is validated by a ton of scientific studies and personal success stories. Be patient and stay the course. It will be worth it. The scalp massager device that we've discussed here in this video can be purchased at heyhair.co. Or if you think you have the persistence to stick with this habit long term without any assistance, then we encourage you to get started right now with your fingers and hands for free. Thanks for watching, guys, and make sure to follow or subscribe to catch our next video.